guys and welcome, and today we'll talk about the situation of a computer. Super ordinary situation which can happen everyone, but wow, such hot chick. But there's another problem. The problem is that three years ago, it was in December 2020, so there's 21, 22, 23. We have October, 1st of October. So 2 years and 10 months ago, I bought a computer, and it was a situation like that. As you remember, I was released on 15th of October 2020, in the middle of pandemic. And the problem was that I had an old HP ProBook notebook, and it was too slow to edit videos, so I couldn't do mostly anything on it, and I had to buy new computer, new notebook really fast, and I didn't have time to wait. And it was a situation like that when I went to a Mac store, to a shop with computers, and I've asked for a new MacBook, because at that time the MacBook with M1 processor was released, the first processor from Apple Silicon series, and I was thinking about the new MacBook M1 with 16GB of RAM and 1TB hard drive, but it was expensive and out of stock, so I had to wait from 1 to 2 months, because they told me that from 6 to 8 weeks waiting time, and I didn't have that time. I've needed something really fast, so mostly there was nothing in a shop. I've looked in all Saturn stores in Berlin. There are many Saturn stores in Berlin that looks similar to a Target PC World, and the problem is there was nothing, absolutely nothing. What you could buy, you had to wait for everything few weeks. So I decided to buy something from China on AliExpress, and it sounds like a great idea, because I paid 1,400 Crete for a computer worth over 2,000 Crete. So for 1,400 Crete, exactly, I paid 1,100 Crete for a computer. Then I paid another 100 quid for a VAT, for a taxation on a border, and I paid another 200 quid for a second hard drive, because this computer had 16. It was equipped with processor i7 10510U processor, 510U i7 processor with 4-core, 8 threads. It's Intel i7 10th generation, really nice processor, and 16GB solder with memory, RAM, DDR4 memory soldered to a mainboard, and 2 slots for NVMe drives. And in slot number 1 there was 1TB NVMe drive, and the second slot number 2 was empty. So I've decided to buy a second hard drive, and I've put it in a second slot. So I had 2 hard drives, 1TB in the first slot, and second hard drive, SSD drive, solid drive, one in slot 1 and 1TB in slot 2, so 2TB of memory. Great thing. And everything was really great. I had to buy external Wi-Fi card, because it was equipped only with Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi AC, which was too slow for me. So I've decided to buy TP-Link TX20U Plus, which was in AX band. It's Wi-Fi 6, which means Wi-Fi AX band, so it's much faster, 1,800 megabits per second. So it was much faster, and everything worked perfectly. And this computer was equipped with a USB Type-C power delivery charger, charging system. So I had to get a charger, because I've got 45 watts charger with computer, which was not very good idea. So I've bought USB Type-C chargers with 20 volts, 3.3 ampere, which gives you 66 watts. And in that I use it for video rendering, for most people, for everything. Later I've decided to buy also a desktop computer, which was Intel Nuke. Small, not as fast as standalone desktop, but the Nuke is great for rendering. And everything worked great until now. Because from day to day there was a malfunction of battery. The battery stopped working and it was getting bigger and bigger, and I was afraid that when the battery goes bigger, it can break the mainboard, it can break the screen. So I've decided that I need to replace that battery. The problem with batteries is that now we have three systems of batteries. First, we have a battery which we can remove without screws and everything, which is available from outside. This is the oldest type of batteries, which is available in the older computer. Then we have two types of inside batteries. First one is that we need to remove some screws and a back plate. And after you remove a back plate, you can change the battery on your own. This is the first system. The second system is that it's also inside the battery, but it cannot move because the battery has a serial number, and this serial number is also on a chip on the mainboard, so it's mostly impossible to change battery. And in the bigger computer, the biggest computer brands like Asus, Acer, Dell, Lenovo, Apple, they have batteries if you unscrew the back plate, you can easily remove it and put a new one. So that's the easiest thing. And when these batteries get older, they just drop capacity, but they are not getting bigger and bigger. The problem is that in that computer which I had, the battery had the serial number, and so this is the problem. The other problem was that there are no this computer. It was a Xiaomi Mi Notebook Pro 15-inch from 2020. So this model was not sold. It wasn't available in Europe. It wasn't available in the US. So the thing is that it was only available on a China market in China. And as you can see on AliExpress information, there are Chinese versions and global versions of a product from Xiaomi. From phones, you have a Chinese version and a global. And with the phones, you need to choose a version from global, because in China you will not have NFC, you will not have eSIM, you will not have Google Wallet. There will be a problem. The thing is that with a computer you can choose China version or global version. Global version are usually better, but you can choose also Chinese version. The thing is, I decided to take a global version, and I've made an order. I've paid by PayPal, and I had to wait 14 days for this computer. 14 days, which is 2 weeks, is also better than 2 months. So it's 2 weeks and versus 8 weeks. So it means it's 4 times shorter period. So 2 weeks, 8 weeks is really fast in that situation during the uprise of pandemic. So I decided to buy it. And when it arrives with Windows 10 single language version in Chinese. The single language version is the special version of operating system where you can only use that one language which was installed at the start, and you cannot install another language. So I had to install my distribution, a new system. The second thing is that if you buy a computer, you got a system with a lot of software, a lot of shit inside, and the best you don't know what the manufacturer, what the dealer, what the people before you install on it. there can be some malware, there can be some viruses, there can be everything. So the best idea when you buy a new computer is to delete everything from a hard drive and install a fresh copy of a system, fresh Windows. Delete all partition. I had my Windows 10 and Windows 11 UEFI ready installation flash drives. I connected this fast USB 3.0 flash drive from a SanDisk to a computer. Then I delete all partitions from my hard drive. I make a new partition, install the system on it, and then I download from a website drivers and install everything. So I know there's no viruses, no malware, no weird backdoor programs. So it's pretty easy, and they've told me that for a new battery I need to wait 2 months. Because the computer was not sold official distribution in Europe and US. Then I need to order the battery from China, which is available, not very expensive, but it was about 70 euros. But I had to wait 2 months for that battery. That if I order 1 week ago, it will be available before end of November. So for me, it's like a big problem. Especially, you will tell me, most computers you can use. You can use without batteries. You can use on a charger. Yes, of course, you can use most laptops on a charger. The problem is, if you travel by a plane, if you go to airport, you need to take your electronic devices like computer, DSLR camera, other electronic equipment out from your carry-on luggage and put on a separate tray, and it will be scanned. If the security officer from TSA will say that there's something suspicious in your device, they will tell you that you need to turn on this computer, and you need to turn on just for a few seconds to show that this computer is working. It's not something fake. It's not something dangerous inside, and there's no power outlets, no places where you can connect your charger to show it. So this is very important that if you travel by plane and you are very often on the airport, you need to have battery recharge and be able to just show that your computer is working, that you can turn it on. Everything will be okay, but it is important to show that everything in order. So if you have no battery or a broken battery in your computer, then it will be very hard to show that everything was okay, and the security control will take longer and this is a very stressful situation. So I've decided that because this battery, I need to wait for the battery for 2 months, and everything else works in the computer pretty well. I've decided that I need to buy a new computer. I've decided to buy a Dell, which is available. Just straight, and then I will sell this as a computer with a malfunction. This is a working computer with a charger, with everything okay inside, with a main board, processor, RAM, and hard drives, SSD drives. Everything is works okay, but you need to buy a new battery. So everything works great, but you need new battery. So remember that you will need to order a battery from China and connect a new battery, and then everything will be okay. So I've sold it on eBay as a used one, 3-year-old computer, in a pretty great configuration, in a good condition, and I decided to buy another one. I've just taken one hard drive from my old computer, so I've sold one with one hard drive, and I've taken my external Wi-Fi card to connect to a new one. So this was the situation. The situation happened in the morning with that battery, so I was really upset because it happened on a Wednesday morning. I had to diagnose the situation, to look if the batteries are available or not. When I've seen it, I had to wait 2 months for batteries. I had to look for other computer which would be enough good for a video production. Then I had to order it and check can they send it on this Wednesday, and make sure that they will be at my home on a Thursday, next day. So it was ordered at 1:45 p.m. on a Wednesday. It was packed, sent, and at about 1 p.m. next day it was at my home. So it was pretty fast. But then I had to make a configuration because, of course, I had a backup of the system on the external hard drive. I have a external hard drive where I can have a full backup of the system. Exactly for whole drive. My whole SSD drive is cloned on an external hard drive. From a EFI partition, server recovery partition, the main partition, which the system, everything is backed up. But the problem is that the new computer has different chipset and a different processor. Of course, you can move that hard drive with an installed system from a computer which uses GPT to another computer which uses GPT, and from a computer which uses MBR to another computer which uses MBR. And the old used UEFIs to the boot, TPM, everything was okay, but it was a different chipset. And I was thinking that I was using this system 3 years, from my installation in December 2020 until now, almost 3 years, 2 years and 10 months exactly. So I decided that I will make a clean installation of Windows. I will install drivers, all software which I need. I will make a configuration of each program which I use again. And I've known that it will take a lot of time, much longer than recovery from a backup. But from my point of view, it was better to make a fresh installation, that everything will work faster and more reliable. And I've started at 1 p.m. on a Thursday, and I've ended about 7 p.m. So it took 6 hours. 6 hours of working on the configuration, settings, UEFI setup, operating system installation, drivers, settings in the system, software, settings in the software. Everything took 6 hours. So that's the reason what I've done with this computer thing. I hope that I explained the situation, why I had a malfunction or what happened. Sometimes it just happens with batteries. I had the same problem with drawing batteries in one of my batteries in the DSLR mirrorless camera. That one of batteries had malfunction. I had to buy a new one. The thing is that in camera the batteries are small, cheap, and you don't have to make any setup with that. Different story, but everything was done correctly. Everything works, so it's very good. I'm very happy with that.